Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Amplify Your Business. Today, we're going to be talking about marketing. We're going to be talking about expansion. We're also going to be talking about coaching and trends in marketing and business and what makes a successful business in these crazy times as we're coming out of COVID. And my guest today is Stephanie O'Brien, the founder and president of Carmella Marketing. So welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Thanks, Lance. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it on this frigid morning. I'm happy to be here.
Well, and we were talking earlier that the weather has been cold both here and as well where you're at, which is down in Canmore. And so over the Christmas break, we were hoping that we were going to be able to connect and have a conversation in Canmore, but the weather turned really ugly and I ended up sick. And so I ended up staying up in Edmonton. And so unfortunately, we have to do this via Zoom, but hopefully one day we'll be able to meet in person.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about Carmella Marketing then, what you guys are doing down there in Canmore.
Sure. I'm actually going to start a little bit earlier, if that's okay.
Yeah, totally.
I grew up at the base of a ski resort in Nova Scotia, which makes most people kind of ponder, a ski hill in Nova Scotia? Really? Yes. So my parents owned a ski resort in Nova Scotia. That's where I grew up. My dad has a bad habit of restarting dead ski resorts. So he's done 4 resort resurrections to date. So I think the entrepreneurialism and the spirit of being an entrepreneur has been in my blood from the moment that I was born. So is skiing. And so that's what actually brought me here. At age 13, I moved to Banff, moved away from my family and went to a ski academy here. And I like to say that I never really left.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. But as things were evolving, I went into coaching. So I coached professionally for 14 years. And then I started making small humans. And when that time came, I realized I couldn't be on the road 150 nights a year anymore. And so I put all my eggs in my side hustle, which at the time was social media and events.
Okay.
And I realized that I was always limited by the number of hours in the day. And so I started hiring people to support me, except that I had no systems and no processes. I didn't know how to determine an ROI on anything. And so then I started working with a coach. And that was Kevin Simpson. And so over the period of a few years, we built a commercial, profitable enterprise that now runs without me. And then I started to look around at my team and say, wow, all of these people are way better at their jobs than I could ever hope to be. And so I replaced myself in the organization. I hired a COO, and so I essentially put myself out of a job.
Okay.
And with that, then I was like, okay, well, now what? Now what do I want to do? And so I really wanted to come back to coaching, because I found that the conversations that I was having with those business owners, our marketing clients, were so much bigger. They would come in and want to talk about marketing, and I would say, okay, but what about sales? And they would come in and say, I want to run a hiring campaign. And I would say, okay, what about staff retention? So, it was working with my coach here. He's like, you're already having these conversations, and he invited me to join his firm. It's been an incredible journey. I love coaching because I get to live vicariously through my clients.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was the same as when I was coaching kids or athletes, right? The youth, I got to live vicariously through their successes, and it's the same. It's the same in business.
Yeah, it's obviously a natural transition for you to go from all that coaching background that you had on the sports side of things and then into business, and really using the skills that you've developed over the years to really, I guess, relate to all those business owners that you were working with, and you've gone through the same kind of struggles, and you understand the importance of the systems and everything else and the accountability, and so then being able to coach them through a lot of those, that's perfect.
Thank you. Yeah,
So
it's been fun.
yeah, so I'd love to unpack a couple things there that you mentioned. And so the first thing I'd like
Sure.
to dig into a little bit is this basically replacing yourself within the organization. So there's a lot of businesses, a lot of people that'll be watching this that really struggle with that. How do you let go? How do you empower the people within your team to kind of take over, and you take a step back so that you can enjoy the fruits of your labor, so to speak, and really get back some of the time that you want to be able to explore other things. And so walk me through how you were able to accomplish that. What was the secret there that you were able to do that?
Yeah, are you asking for yourself, Lance?
Of course. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about this business is that, or this series, is that I get to learn so much along the way. But yeah, not only for myself, but there's so many other businesses out there that are in a very similar situation, right? Where the owner just has a hard time stepping back.
When we talk about replacing yourself, the key for me on that one was to go through the painful process. And it really wasn't, I say painful because it was challenging for me to document and to map out in actual flow charts all of the processes. So I can literally give you the book of Carmella, which has also been the key to us being able to open offices, not just in Canmore where we are, but one in Kimberley and one in Jasper. And we're going to do 5. So we'll do 5 mountain towns. The reason why we've been so successful in moving into these mountain towns is because one of the first things we do is we partner with the DMO and we partner with the chamber. And we say, you know what, we support local businesses. So we have $1,000 worth of free services that my COO can give away to any business, whether it's a not-for-profit or not, every single month. So she can say, hey, you know what? We're going to sponsor this. We're going to sponsor you here. So she's got the ability to make those decisions. So we want to support the chambers. We want to support the DMOs. We want to hire local. We intend to buy real estate in all of these locations as well. So now you can see we're creating an ecosystem in all of these mountain towns because we want to see an economic impact of almost 30% as a result of supporting these businesses. So we're transforming mountain towns or mountain communities into these culturally connected and thriving business hubs, centers essentially. So that's the vision. That's the reason. That's my why. But it's, I'm fiercely competitive, but I'm also very community minded. And therefore I want to see these businesses survive and thrive. And you know what? My coaching clients, which we'll kind of talk to as well, but my coaching clients, their revenues are up between 65 and 450% in the
Wow.
past year over year. So I
Yeah,
know the
through the
things that
pandemic.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly. So I
that's
know
amazing.
the things we're doing on the coaching side are working. I know the things we're doing on the marketing side are working because our clients stay with us and they add on more services because they see the results that they're getting. And the really sweet spot is when I end up with somebody in both camps. So when I have a client, and I would say 65% of my coaching clients are also working with Carmella.
Okay, so let's talk about your coaching business then. So you said that you started that. That's been your focus now because you have your
Mhm.
COO in place that's running the business on the Carmella side, and so you now have the luxury of doing another passion, another business, which obviously is connected. But you're saying that you've had some really great success in growing their revenues and their performance as well. So tell me what's been going on. What kind of trends are you seeing out there amongst your coaching clients?
Yeah, great question. So my coaching clients currently are across all industries. Um, so I think some of the trends might be might be different from my client who is a lean process consultant, all the way to my adventure tourism operator
Yeah,
who's got a $20 million business.
yeah.
So again, the trends are going to be a little bit different, but the formula stays the same. and I'm gonna tell you the formula.
Yeah, I'd
So
love for you to unpack that a little bit, because
okay.
everybody can benefit from this by the sounds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting when I first have clients come in, especially my oil and gas clients, when they first come in, they're like, "Oh, that doesn't apply to me. No, no, my business is special. That doesn't apply to me." And then after we've been working together for a little while, they actually really start to appreciate the simplicity of this. We call it the 5 ways, okay? And the 5 ways are the only 5 dials that you can turn in your business to increase your profits, like the money in your jeans at the end of the month.
Okay.
And I guess if I had said, Lance, what do you want more of in your business? You'd say, well, I want more customers, I want more revenue, and I want more profit. And I'd
Yep.
say, okay, okay, that's great. Those 3 things are the result of something else. Okay, so if we want more customers, the first thing we have to do is we have to look at our leads. So what qualifies as a lead? How many leads do we actually need? What are our marketing tactics? And so I will work with my clients, my coaching clients, on creating what we call a 10 by 10. And so
Okay.
that 10 by 10, this is still in the leads bucket here. That 10 by 10 will have 10 different strategies that we are working on right now. Each one of them we're hoping will drive about 10% of the total number of leads that we need to come into the top of this formula. Now, it's interesting because we track cost per acquisition, we track cost per conversion, we track all sorts of conversion points along the way, and we start to look at this and say, huh, isn't that interesting? All my leads are coming from YouTube, or all my leads are coming from X, right? So we
Yeah.
very quickly figure out it's strategy or tactic number 1, 4, and 7 that are driving the leads. And you and I know that 80% of the marketing that we do doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it's really great when we can figure out which of that 80% it is that doesn't work, and stop investing huge resources into actually doing those things.
Yeah.
Then comes your conversion rate. Okay, how good are you at selling? So we follow a formula for selling. We call it the formula for change.
Okay.
And the first part of it is really uncovering true dissatisfaction with your client. So what is it? Often we, especially true salespeople, they come in with product features and product benefits, and we can solve, like, here's the vision, here's the vision, here's the vision, but we never really truly uncover that D. What is that dissatisfaction? How big is it? And so I coach my clients on the formula for change, which is dissatisfaction times vision plus first steps, has to be greater than that resistance to change, or else people are not moving anywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. So then, and we look at DISC, which is personality
Yeah.
profiling and behaviors, and then we talk about how to tailor our communication to whoever we're talking to, for example. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so then we work and we work and we increase the conversion rate, and then we get our customers. Okay, so now we've gone leads times conversion rate equals customers.
Yep.
Now we're going to go number of transactions. So if you've got a retainer client, that's pretty set, right? It's 12, or maybe there's some special projects, it might be 13, for example. That might be really set, but is there a way that we can increase that by just 10%? Probably. That's your customer service right there.
Yeah.
Next one down, so this is the fourth dial of your dials, is dollars per transaction. So we can always find a way to better service our clients, right? We can always find a way to offer our clients more. And it's not about upselling, it's literally about making sure that we give our clients absolutely everything that we have to give them. How can we help them the most ways?
Yep.
Do you like chicken wings?
Love chicken wings. It's not the
Okay.
best for me, but I definitely partake a few too many, I suppose.
so so if you imagine, like, you go and eat some chicken wings with your grandparents, for example, Like they are cleaning every shred of meat off of the bone. They are like
Yeah.
sucking the marrow out of the inside, because they generally, like, based on how old we are, they probably lived through the Depression.
Yeah. Some
So
scarcity there.
yeah, exactly. Scarcity. That's a great one. Um, Versus, you take your kids out to have chicken wings, and they take like one or two bites and then put it down. You're like,
Yeah.
are you done with that? And I think if we think about the chicken wings and we think about them the same, like that analogy, but apply, say, customer service or apply sales to it. It's like, are you offering, the grandma, like, cleaned out, you've given them absolutely everything you possibly can give them level, or are you so busy that you're really only taking one bite out of it and putting it down?
Mm.
Is abundance so great that you're not actually giving them all of the opportunities that you could? So, you asked about secrets. I think your secrets are making sure that you have your processes nailed down to the point that both your delivery, mastery, as well as your sales processes are all just like running pretty effortlessly there. So that's going to give you your revenue by your profit margin is going to equal the amount of profit. So your margin, right? That margin is the last dial that you can turn there.
Yeah.
And by just making changes at each one of those 5 dials, that's how we increase the amount of money that's left in your jeans at the end of the year.
And so this is what you've been doing then, coaching your clients through that. And so where do you find, and I'd imagine it's quite different for each client, but I'm just curious if there has been some trends in this last 2 years basically through the pandemic. Are you finding that there's a better return, or that one of those dials is more important through this period of time, where you're
Ooh,
seeing a bigger lift, I guess, in terms of their overall performance? Or is it just really the combination of it all?
interesting. Good question. Without reviewing the numbers, I'm not totally sure.
Yeah.
I think one of the big surprises for some of the businesses has been, like, they never really felt like they had to market before, and now they're actually having to reach out to their best clients, potential clients. They're really having to explore and figure out ways to get in front of those people. So I think that maybe it's the top of the 5 ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, You asked about other trends that I'm seeing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of it is personalization. So if I think about
Mm.
our hotel clients, it's, you know, reels. Reels are doing great.
Yeah.
I think about my realtor clients, it's YouTube. If I think about my consultants or my people that are trying to infiltrate, like, kind of the upper C-suite of an organization, it's kind of that 9-word message, that 9-word email, that you use, but in LinkedIn, and getting people, whether you have an event or you have something that you're, trying to promote, but then making sure that you're getting the, whatever you call it, the discovery call or the intro call or whatever it might be, booked at the exact same time so that you actually get that one-on-one time with them.
Can you speak to that a little bit more than the 9-word email, but within
Sure.
LinkedIn? Yeah, just
Yeah,
expand upon that,
absolutely.
because I think a lot of people would be curious as to what that actually
Yep.
means.
If I start getting a whole bunch of 9-word emails after this, I'm going to know, at least in the great way, that people actually watch this, which will be great. Yeah, so the message would be like, hey, Lance, I'm getting a bunch of people together on Zoom on January 19th to talk about sales and marketing. Are you interested?
Yeah. So short
It's
and sweet is
Yeah,
the
it's literally getting them. It's not saying, here's my link, here's my bio, here's all of this stuff. It's just like, are you interested? Yes. Okay, cool. Here, like, let's like make it so easy. Get them raising their hand, get them saying yes. So for example, in LinkedIn, another thing I would do is I'd say, whew, I just finished putting and tested this one. It worked quite well, actually. Just finished putting together a phenomenal workshop on digital marketing ROI. And, if you're interested in finding out more about that, hit me with yes ROI in the comments below. I got 20 people who are like, yes ROI. What do you think the conversion rate between the yes ROI people and actually getting them to sign up is versus just if I had posted my event?
Yeah, it's going to be much higher. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Any other trends?
Um, I think you'd have to go to the other side of the wall where all the experts are. But I would say from the coaching standpoint with the coaching clients, those are the things that we're seeing that are actually working right now. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And so now I would imagine when you decided to go into the coaching side of the business and really create that there was a lot of appeal because of the potential crossover then into Carmella marketing, where it almost becomes a bit of a lead generation, or both of them actually are creating leads and for either business, right? In a lot of
mhm.
respect. And so was that quite intentional the way that you did that, or was it more so just happenstance because you also have this background in sports coaching? You were being coached, you saw the value of it, and it was just a natural extension of your interest as well as your capabilities.
So I would say that I'll tell you a quick story.
Sure.
So in the beginning, when I first got the coaching certification and started, well, this coaching certification,
Yeah.
um, I was coach of the year for all of Canada when I was, coaching previously. So again, there's history there, but in this instance, when I first got this coaching certification, I was sending through our CRM some personal messages to some of our marketing clients. And one of them, he actually mentioned to our COO, he was like, "Why does she keep sending me these coaching? Like, I don't really care. Why? Like, tell her to stop sending me the coaching information."
Yep.
And I was like, "Okay, I can stop sending the coaching information." And then we fast forward, not even a year later, and it's the same individual who came up to me and said, "Hey, I think I want to have a conversation about coaching." So, I think again, if we think about the personality types, right? Some people they have to like you first and then they might learn to trust you. And some people they have to trust you first and then they might learn to like you.
Mm,
So in this instance, it's the trust first. So show me the success, show me the ROI, show me this, show me that. What are the results? How much time? What's the cost? That's all they really care about. And
yep.
on the other hand, it might be cool. Am I going to enjoy the process? What's it going to feel like? What am I going to get out of it? Again, so they're very, very different. But yeah, was it intentional? It's actually been quite interesting. So the coaching firm that I'm part of is part of a franchise system. So there's 86. This type of coaching is in 86 different countries around the world.
Oh, wow.
And the founder of that entire franchise kind of stood up, took notice, and said, "Hold on, your marketing agency is providing clients over here, and so now they're actually targeting more marketing agency owners as potential
Coach.
coaches
Yeah.
because of how great, yeah, the referral opportunities are."
Yeah, well, it totally makes sense when you're talking about the five dials, right? And that first dial really is what you do for your customers. And so
Hmm.
on the Carmella side, right? So it's
Hmm.
which is a huge, huge one. And as you mentioned, probably in this pandemic has been one of the more important dials to really get right. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
great. Now, one thing that I think there's just some really great lessons always in the mistakes, right? And so I'm really curious that if there's anything that you've identified over the coaching, or even with all the businesses that you've interacted with on the marketing side of the business as well, if there's any common mistakes that you see businesses making that if only they were able to change that, they're going to see a lot more results. And so any common threads there on the mistake side that we can
Oh
tease
my
out some
goodness.
lessons?
You know, I think there's probably, and you and I could have a whole hour-long conversation on this one. Um, I think useful content versus publishing content. So,
Mm.
making sure that we consider, who the audience is and what their pain points are. Carmella has a litmus test, and that litmus test is that content, is it memorable? Right? So are you producing something that's memorable? Are you producing something that's valuable and is providing an ROI? Is it relevant to your target audience? And is it timely? So, is it timely and that it's being served at the right time? And I think that litmus test, the Carmella litmus test, would really solve a lot of the problems that maybe the clients are having if they just took a minute and said, okay, what's the overarching objective here? What are we trying to achieve? And is this content going to achieve that?
Yeah,
Um,
that's great.
another piece that I see an awful lot is, hey, what's your marketing budget for 2022?
Yeah.
And people are kind of like, what do you mean? Like, I know how we're
Yeah.
doing our marketing, but so it's, where's the vision? Where are we going? Like, what's what's the long-term vision? What's the vision for this year? Where are we going? Do the marketing objectives line up to the business goals? So I think that's another mistake,
Yeah.
right? An awful lot of people aren't kind of taking the step back or even popping that telescope up to kind of look around, right? And see, oh, we're going over there. Because often, if we don't know where we're going, then the actions we're taking right now might drive us this way, might drive us this way, might drive us
Yeah.
that way, right? We
Yeah.
need to go.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think intention, and that comes with the vision, and then building that strategy around. But if you don't know where you're going, there's just no way that you're ever going to get
Mm-hmm.
to get to the place where eventually that business needs to be, I think. And so, and I just want to circle back to the content piece that you were talking about, because I think that's a really, really big point. And there's a lot of businesses that we work with, the vast majority that and other businesses that I see out there, especially in the social channels, where it's really just pushing content out and it's not valuable content. So they're not adding anything to that great big huge content engines of social media that are out there. And so to do content marketing right, it has to be valuable. But the other thing that I really am noticing too is you might be able to tackle the good content piece, but if they're not engaging with their community in social,
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to expect
Mm-hmm.
to see much results with it. And that's one
Totally
of the
agree.
other big failures that I see just so many businesses doing, is that they're using social as more like, and I always like explain it this way, as it's like a billboard on the side of a highway.
Mm-hmm.
So you might catch somebody's eyes as they're speeding past the billboard, but if you instead were able to get them to stop, pull over, and have a conversation with you, there's a much better chance that they're going to see value in the content that you're placing there, and that you're going to be able to build that relationship, that know, like,
Mm-hmm.
trust factor that you were
Yeah,
talking
the whole
about.
idea of starting a conversation, right?
Yeah.
Versus like just spewing content on people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
great content, and then making sure you're engaging with your community and
Hmm.
being social.
There's one more piece I would probably add to that, and it's very obvious in social media, and that is, leverage. So how are you applying leverage to your marketing?
Mm,
And leverage can be, doing more with less. Leverage can be, you can leverage people, right? you
yeah.
can you can leverage influencers, you can leverage, but if you I think you started out in this conversation talking about how people will create these amazing videos and then they just sit on their website, right? what's that
Yeah.
what's that distribution plan? Can you create, if you're in a mountain town and you're creating a video, so who's the GMO? Who's the town? What do they care about? Can you create a video that is going to maybe serve their purpose, but also serve your purpose in a way they're going to share it, they're going to promote it. They probably
Mm.
have a different network than you do, right? So how do we apply leverage in marketing is always a huge curiosity of mine. Yeah, and I feel like that's probably been even one of the keys to our success is how do we leverage, how do we bring multiple organizations together to actually leverage this business to have a bigger voice than it might have had on its own.
Yeah, and so I'd imagine that's really core to your strategy to really get involved with the chambers or the organizations within these towns that are going to have a similar either audience or crossover objectives and goals. Then, correct?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, yeah. So, any last tips that you would have then for our audience before we say goodbye?
Oh my goodness. Last tips for the audience. Yeah, just um, we use this formula. It's called B times do equals have. Okay.
Hmm.
And the B is whether it's the manager or the business owner or yourself, right? The do is the strategic business plan. It's the marketing plan. It's all the actions. It's the objectives and key results in order to drive the have, which is the results that we want in our business. But we know that anything times zero still equals zero, right?
Yeah.
So if we don't focus on the human, if you don't focus on creating the culture that drives those individuals, that answer is still going to be zero. So making sure that we're looking after our people and making sure that we have a really strong culture and just looking after our team and looking after each other and offering a hand when the time is right rather than hand out asking for something in return. I think that's probably one of the biggest things we can all do right now.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We are human organizations, and we can't forget that the human is definitely at the center of it. And it's the same thing on the marketing side. So that's on the business side. On the marketing side, people buy from people at the end of the day, right? And
Yeah,
so we really, if we can humanize our product, our service, our organization, I think we have that much better chance then of creating those relationships that are going to really drive the business forward.
totally
So
agree.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
human-centric
totally
approach
agree.
for sure. I love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. If anybody wanted to connect with you about the coaching, or if they're in, the mountains and they want to, tap into your expertise on marketing mountain towns and businesses that are within them, how would they reach out to you then? How would they connect with you?
Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm all over the internet. So website is carmellamarketing.com. Our emails are just full name, so Stephanie at carmellamarketing.com. But a great way is through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm Steph with two F's O'Brien on LinkedIn if you're looking for the link, or full name Stephanie. It just, yeah, like it's I'm pretty easy to find. I feel like I am anyway. Yeah. So
Sounds great. Yeah. So Google Stephanie O'Brien Canmore, and I'm sure they're going to find lots of ways
yes,
to connect with you, right?
actually you will.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. I really appreciate you taking the time today to talk to us a little bit about your journey, the Carmella marketing success that is, as well as then the coaching that you're doing too. And I think that you are definitely completely on fire. I have no doubt at all that this 5 mountain town goal is going to be knocked off in the very near future. So good luck with that, and I hope that our paths cross in person, maybe on a ski hill down in the Canmore Banff area.
I hope so too. It'd be great.
Okay, thanks so much. And for those of you who enjoyed this episode, if you're interested in checking out the rest of our episodes, you can head over to our archive, which is at amplifyyourbusiness.ca. And if you are a business who wants to be featured, there is an option there to apply to be a future guest. So I hope you check that as well. or check that out as well. And everybody enjoy the rest of this winter. Hopefully this episode is being pushed out towards the end of it. So we're going to be coming back into some warmer weather. And in the meantime, stay safe, everybody.